win that song.
So. Quay không chịu đấy.
Đi, có số đi sao lâu bị chụp đi rồi đi. Samgati Bodhi Swaha Tayata Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tayata Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha.
심지어 탐지가 또 도잘하는 맞지 봐. 산재에 공부하는 뭐지? 진행도 도와줘. 대체도 전주에서 발라전 수시는 양도라 나와라 신고를 신발을 투발을 투제쇼만 와가지고도 아니 가서 뭐가 돼 가서 다 잠불하면 종각을 접했으면 남유치부 사제가 되는 대신 준비되는 선언체.
So we set our motivation as we normally do to really attain the peerless state of enlightenment, and by perfecting all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. With the knowledge that in order to perfect those trainings, I must have a good understanding of them, and to gain that understanding on the basis of an unmistaken text and unmistaken presentation. And it is with this in mind that I listened to an outline of the stages on the path to enlightenment this morning, as composed by the great Lama Tsongkhapa. Shokchang Gyatang Sungju Sokku. Sopa.
장주가 셈 딱가서를 딱가서 장주가 셈 쓰는데다 지금 심지어 산재 고마토 걸 장주가 셈 하는 것도 장주가 셈 개받지 마탈에 좀 맞춘 개받지 아니 개받지네 다 가져지고 개받지네 다 가져서 줘발라고 그래서 줘발라 말아봐이나 셈 개받으면 그다 사바사모 개받에 페유다 산이 비자와요 얘네야 고저 가서 다 산재가 살아 줘발라 람라라고 그러와 람라라고도 아니 갈라고선 아니 제조 파전조다 도용 것이길라 라고 해야 수고요보다 수고요 어떻게 다들 이번에 다 가져 지금 다 가져 제조 파전조가 다 냠내 지에는 다 집받아 자 주제다 저거 수여받아 저거 소리 아니 존재다 아니 때문에서 싫어졌다 제조 파전조는 그래서 다 집받아 수준이도 또 신사받았다 수배 카드를 내려야겠어.
So we've been examining the whole purpose of the path, really, through the generation of that mind of enlightenment, and subsequently then what must necessarily follow from that is the training in the bodhisattva activities, those activities related to the cultivation of that mind of enlightenment, and that to understand that to just merely generate the mind of enlightenment is something of great benefit in itself, but in terms of attaining the state of enlightenment, we must train on the path that leads to that goal, and that path is the training in the six perfections, the activities of the bodhisattva. They are, of course, the six of generosity, ethical conduct, patience, enthusiastic effort, meditative concentration, and wisdom. and that we have looked briefly at the first two of generosity and ethical conduct, and we are in the midst of examining patience. So that we've been in kind of positioning patience. We can see that in the context of practice and the practice of the 6 perfections, that without patience, the other 5 perfections cannot be perfected, cannot be practiced perfectly. And indeed, this interdependence between the various perfections is apparent in each of the perfections. In other words, that we must practice all in order to complete all, and integrate patience in all the practice of the other perfections. And so this, in the context of the 3 different divisions of patience, being the accepting of harm, of suffering, the not returning harm for harm, the having patience in kind of the conviction through in the Dharma of undergoing the necessary difficulties and hardships, and so on. And so we can see, even in the course of this life, the benefits of good patience practice leads to a reduction in the trouble in our life, the suffering in our life, that it makes the activities that we engage in more meaningful, and of course it has an effect of reducing the predominance of mental affliction in our lives. So in this regard, the first of the divisions of patience, of not returning harm for harm, or accepting the suffering coming from others, is so important that it can ameliorate many difficulties in our lives, as opposed to how easily upset we can be by just getting upset because of a few words from somebody else. We have to be able to look into the larger context and accept these kinds of sufferings. And of course, to have this overall sense of respect and love and appreciation for others in general, because we can see that without that there is a quick tendency towards disrespect when things go wrong, and that of course allows the opportunity for the mental afflictions to take over and take control of us. And that when the mental afflictions are in our mind stream like that, neither can we be happy nor can others be happy, and indeed it leads to all kinds of trouble.
看着甚至他们这个三界公报主管是老板赢不赢那样，俺这个看着这个出个这个各自两百赢不赢那样，甚至了国外的这个都买不赢了，俺这是怕这个能力他搞完用的用推过来用嘛的，但这个这玩呢，他可是 action 咋不吧？那我那用嘛吧，老年成功就是吃不它，
So that this sense of the overall respect and appreciation for sentient beings in general is not just paying lip service to that ideal. It has to be manifest in action. After all, having generated the mind of enlightenment, we place the importance of sentient beings, other sentient beings, front and center. And that here, in order to be able to practice the six perfections kind of as well as we can. In fact, the degree to which we can practice the six perfections well is the degree to which we hold that respect and appreciation of sentient beings in general. So it's not just enough to say, I wish generate the mind of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings and to sustain that in ritual. That alone is not enough. It has to be manifest in our actions, and that means to be able to accept all kinds of untoward behavior from sentient beings, etc.
근데 이제 장주 선배 남은 냠내 지금스다 산제고 공부되는 얘기는 랑게 도나 되나 사나 투나 아니 저기 근데 지금 내가 힘바 이나야 아니 저기 가서도 산제 공부도에 아니 줄을 좀 받지 다 줄을 좀 받지 산제 공부도에 아니 줄을 좀 받지 괜지 줄을 배주 지겐지 제한도 아니 샘지한스인데 쉬우게 가서 좀 받지 얘기는 좀바 제고에게 semjan 탐자 소리스 나와이나 아니 랑기 치나 예베 semjan네 제가 타입에 맞게 semjan 되게 되면도 랑기 치나 예베 semjan라 아니 저게 가서데 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 마고 바다 아니 제와 메바다 아니 디 아니 그 타바다 탐제 캠에 줄에 배주 따이게 배주 맞아 와이나 배주 맞아 와이나 아니 되네 다 가서다 자주스베 랑고 냠네 지금 자주스베 도마 켈렌 제바이네 다 산제다 자주스바 탐절 우고 쉬버와 고다버와 다 딜레 네바 잡죠 가요
So, in terms of the mind of enlightenment, that what we have, as it were, signed up for is to use all of our actions, whether in coming or going, doing whatever we are engaged in at all times, that we are striving to establish the causes to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. And of course, this means how crucial it is to be able to see all sentient beings in that light, and to be able to treat all sentient beings in the correct way because of our commitment to the state of enlightenment. So this is what we are compelled to do by accepting the mind of enlightenment, generating that mind of enlightenment. And if we have to ask, like, who are these sentient beings that we are hoping to benefit? They are the sentient beings that are right next to us, who we engage with on a daily basis. And that's our training ground, as it were. And if we can't have love for those sentient beings, if we can't have respect for those sentient beings, if we don't make an effort to really help benefit those sentient beings, then we are making a mockery of the commitment that we have made when we generated the mind of enlightenment. And worse again, we are deceiving all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of whom we made that commitment, and there is no greater fault than that. And so the advice is to be extremely careful and conscientious in our thoughts and in our actions, because it's not those with whom we have no connection where the danger lies. We don't know them. It's those with whom we have that close connection, those who are near to us, who we meet on a regular basis. They're the best basis on which we can bring benefit to others. They're the best basis on which we can generate virtue. But also, there is the danger of negativity, and negativity is close when we are close to these close sentient beings. So we have to be extremely careful.
다 다른데라 삽사 맞잖아. 모든 사람들 차려고 봐도 아니 저기 파조 마간데 차바이나 아니 사람들 차려고 봐도 녀모를 구급돼 대처도 아니 다마다 탐지 캐봐서 근데 다 라면 해버 봐. 다 다른데 즉 겨왕내매 그 레그 온거 즉 또서 저기 강에 책이 요번에 뒤 당돌래나 다른 상계 뭐 다들 그거 맞대 맞아 다른 예 밀루타 대적을 된다 디나네 산제게 때마다 디나 태바치베 때마다 제는 제로 껍들어 당내 뭐 신거요 쓰네 아니 뭐 쳐봐자 녀몽 시원도 마다다 배준 제가 있나 아니 그 셜러도야 탑 약수지도
So, we are going to have problems in this life. We are going to have problems with people in this life. But we have to understand the karmic path on which those problems travel. And that if we fail to deal with them in any kind of response to them in a skillful way, then we are simply perpetuating those problems from life to life to life in the future, without any hope of us attaining enlightenment. And so we have to understand that the difficulties with people have arisen due to previous karma collected in previous lives. Here it is manifesting again now. However, here I don't have to react in the same way as I have done perpetually. I have a precious human rebirth. I have met with the Dharma. I am aware of karma. I'm aware of the karmic path here. I know what's going on. Therefore, I can make an effort to do something about this, to stop this path of karma, and therefore stop it perpetuating from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. That means transforming our attitude. And so this is the best also means for in manifesting our practice.
근데 이번에서 다 냠내 제체스 틀려봐. 제 냠내 제 그게 요 말이야. 냠내 제체스 랑게 강내 채와티 아니 강내 때 타마수이지. 뭐벌 못으로 강내 마요에게. 아니 디 강내 디 규가르샤 제초에 되는 규도 마요에 탑시지. 겐가리야 탑시지. 겐도 마요에 탑시지. 나 들어 추고 냠내 제스 그러와.
And so that's practice. When we want to know what is practice, or I'm engaging in practice, that's it. It's the response that we rise and skillful response that we have towards the problems in life. When these difficulties arise, can we focus on this in terms of its cause and condition, and be able to respond wisely so that it is not continuing on from lifetime to lifetime. That's practice.
먼저 practice 제스도 제대로 도나처럼 너무 가세게네 개초 아니 아직 가서다 강에 최근에 강에 될 돈에 제다 맞으셔지 강에 돈에 제다 강에 마요에 탑시다 아니 이 강에 타마소에다 되게 아직 가서 탑시 양다고 되는 걸 맞지 맞지 아니 너무 시원하다 잖아 내가 왜 맞지 봐 모두도 동네 유튜브 대봐이나 아니 남녀 차가 말아 남녀 차가 말이야 간도 가서 지구였으나 저다 저래 다 식사부터는 평행자로부터 납치부터 다 주도 다 납치부터 다 거저 강에 채봤대 아니 이 강에 타마스네 마음 봐라 대대 강에 마요에 탑시지 강에 중앙 임바이네 아니 강에데 아니 가서도 저 가서도 아니 최초에 튕겨를 배주 당도했지 중앙이나 다 냠래 다 잡아라 저도 잡아라 다 아니 강에 줘봐대다 배대 개소리 차기도 와.
And so yes, to be able to practice, to really understand what that means, and that to kind of like meet with our problems and meet with our mental afflictions, to use the best possible means to constantly refine the means or the response to those problems, and so that they can be reduced, they can be eradicated. And this is practice. This is what the real meat of practice is, and that to kind of like to only kind of like leave our practice, or to limit practice to simply reciting prayers, or to keeping a prayer commitment is good in terms of using good words and generating a good motivation, but it must be taken into our practical everyday lives. It must be integrated into the things that arise for us on a daily basis, and to be able to constantly refine our skillful response to the vicissitudes of life, and to be able to meet these problems and overcome them. And so this is going to lead to being able to deal with the problems that do arise, and get more skillful at avoiding problems from arising in the first place. And to be able to also use the situation of difficulty and hardship, as it were, take it onto the path, and to use it as our Dharma practice. And this is really called really fully qualified practice.
아니 저기 다가니시 아니 배 시바이네 개와지 마들 아니 배 밀루실에 냠네 야고 제토바 쇼스 무슨 몰람 잡대고 요 봐. 다다다 밀루일래 돼요래. 냠네 지에게는 고급 돼요래. 아니 지금 너마 개와라서 봤는데 되게 감아가 지금 제 깨대지 요래. 다디 소소 문에는 냠네 야고지 제토바 다 소소 문에 빠고 잡아라. 개와지 마 용화쇼 몰람 잡아 세다리를 소소를 튕겨 창대와데 아니 강에 태와데 아니 최주에 튕겨를 배주 당 좋아이나 개와 제마 아니 저기 동해 용화쇼 강에 태와쇼 몰람 잡아이네 밀루 말렘 바쇼 말렘 잡아이네 그 세다리 밀루 탑이다 개와가 최다 개와 제마 최다 제 되게 소소 다다리 최다 제바데 딱딱 배준 전 치바이나 모용화쇼스네 용거리야 그거 주다 제부스 근데 그 거서데 저쪽 되어 봐
And so we make our aspirational prayers, to be able to meet with the conditions to practice the Dharma, to have a precious human rebirth, and so on. We without sometimes realizing that we already have those conditions. We have a precious human rebirth. We have a fully qualified conditions here to be able to apply the Dharma and to be able to engage in practice. And so these it's important to see that it is now, and that we have all the causes and the conditions necessary for practice, to be able to practice perfectly now, so that in the future we need not make, even if we make aspirational prayers not to meet with meet with problems, aspirational prayers to have difficulties, aspirational prayers not to have the opportunity to engage in Dharma, that they will not be answered. Those prayers will not be fulfilled, because we have not created the causes and conditions for that to happen, and we have created the causes and conditions for their opposite.
녀모게 귤라 배주 당전 다 드레스 치어도 아니 치마 영화 줘서 몰람잖아 군이 차 두고 요 말봐 차마도도 유디 마티바체도 안 데보도 마음 발라 마티바 좀 되기도 와 그러와 영 되기도 와 다디에서 뭐지 차마도 봐 지금부터 다 몰람 잡에다 소에 다다 튕겨 차와들 야고지 제와이나 다 답답해 되어라 답답해 되어라.
And so, if we have the situation whereby now we are beset by a mental affliction, by the inability to engage in practice, that we and to kind of like allow conditions to get out of hand, as it were, when the untoward happens, and therefore allows that opportunity for a mental affliction to get a look in. We open the door to it and allow it to take over. And all of this is saying that we may have the kind of prayers and aspirations to engage in the practice, but we haven't yet created the perfect, unmistaken causes to bring that about. And so we have to see what the deficit is in our situation, in our practice, in our outlook, in our application, and to correct that, and to create the correct causes and conditions combined with the prayers, the aspirational prayers, to ensure that we are able to respond to life more skillfully in the future. And so we all must be very careful in this regard, that that the Dharma that we think we are engaging in is not simply perpetuating negativity. We have to be very, very careful with regard to that. So if we're engaging in anything under the influence of mental affliction, it can never become Dharma practice. So we need to be very, very careful in that regard. So maybe I'm speaking too forcefully. I don't know. This is my habit to say things directly. I don't hold with the idea that to be saying, "Oh, everything is very nice and everything is very good" all the time, because that means we don't get the kind of a realistic attitude of how devious and insidious the influence of mental affliction is on our lives.
아니 소소이 녀몽 그 많이 배출 그래서 경험을 사서 뒤주고 차례 경험을 하소 다 만도서는 경험을 하소 아주 미질을 딱 받게 막게 요 말이 로아 치원이 봐 남친님의 집에서 취마도 강하게 아픈 것도 나라들 되게 영해 되는 개와 좀의 연구도 미개와 좀 동의 영화 되기도 뒤에서 다 개와 줘발라 봐도 수제기도 쓰나 녀몽 제기도 다 삽삽 맞으나 녀몽 되게 아니 소소 동행의 살 티토도 와. 다들 삼삼 맞지는 빼 내가래도 와. 가수콜란 삼다에도 와. 알로에 그게 믿어.
So we have to be extremely careful to constantly kind of really do this self-reflection without pointing the finger out at others, but do the inner examination to understand where we stand in terms of, okay, we make such commitments to engage in our Dharma practice, our spiritual practice, and that we talk about the effort that we engage in, the expense that we go to, and so on. But we have to ensure that what we are doing is really, truly pure spiritual practice, and it's not something that's so infected by mental affliction that it's really negativities that we are accumulating. In this regard, it's kind of very important to constantly keep death in mind. The fact that death is certain, that the time of death is uncertain, that only Dharma is going to be a benefit to you at that time of death, and to understand that it's the purpose of the avoidance of non-virtue, the creation of virtue, and that the greatest obstacle to the creation of virtue is the influence of my own mental affliction. And to keep that in mind constantly is very, very important for us, and we have to be very, very careful with regard to that. And so in that context we can see that patience is essential, and without patience we can't really deliver that pure Dharma practice.
아니 지금 아니 가서 책까지 되게 요바이나 뒤인가데 아니 강투도 겨와도 녀몽도 고급 숙충은 좀도 숙충도 좀도 다 되네 이제 아니 내가 빌나 기봐 아니 타바 답자 아니 내가 기보다 시대 요도 아니 최주벨라 즉 가서도 고급 망아 용으로 와 고급 망아 용으로 샘충대로 최주도 말이야 아니 왔다 내가 지금 수부 최대가 차네 게제 시기네다 다가네 시가 지금 소소 냠내 촌에 게제 시기네다 다 근데 저 삼로 다와 얘네 수바 먹거나 탐매 되게 저도 탐매 되게 저도
And so in this regard too, in sort of looking into patience in that context, we can see the tremendous potential of developing and cultivating patience, how it can make for a meaningful life for us. It can really fulfill the goal or the potential of our precious human rebirth. And that however long we have in life, we can sustain that life of virtue far more readily within the confines or the context of patience. That the kind of like the mental afflictions will be reduced constantly, the opportunity for negativity gone and reduced very consistently. We'll have more happiness, more peace in our lives, and in that way provide more opportunity for virtue, for practice, for genuine practice, so that it's not just has like health benefits for us also, but in our kind of formal practice will be improved through the cultivation of patience also.
아니 남주당 딜레데데 미네 게데니 되고 말봐 틸레데니 되고 말봐 근데 키데지 바이나 제다디 컨트로사도는 틸리샤 코고 말이요 제다디 지금 열받다 그 믹스에게 신나 차고다 괜찮아 차고도 와 또도 미두버 차고도 와 통과 되버 차고도 와 그러아 아니 딜레데네 레니 바사고도 와 아니 딜레데네 아니 지금 가서데 밀루실렘바 이네 겨워지마 밀루실렘바 이네 미통마데 미가가 막아서 미치 용구로 와 용구도 와 다들이죠 아니 지금 소바 검직지도 인도하고 미가가 통한되고 요래지 아니 지금 대가로 지금 가서도 지금 콘도 숙충화 사태에 콘도 좀 보사에 메게 되는 차대 아니 다도 아니 저 봐봐자 콘도 따와내 빠는 산지 아니 다 줄을 줘대다 아니 지금 산지가 차상 줄을 줘대 거다 그 서바범의 평형 산이 미쳐 맞지 다 컨디 생활도 줘나 다디 라라 용라야면도 처음 매되겠지 내가 다 타도 가봐서다가 있네 무튼이 용라 대지래도 다 되게 삼례 야보시 단전에 아니 지금 컨도 강 야주 누누 사탑지 아니 내가 차답지 저 배준 제고도 그래서 컨도 야고 말했어 뭐좀 그게 신거리네 컨도 사베가 컨도 려도 아니 마용아 탑지 제대 개치줄 봐 컨도 야고 말도 뭐좀 그게 신거리 봐 대상 평보다 소소로 컨도 려도 컨도 말려가 그랬을 제고도 아니 컨도 이바도 뭐 진전 아니 마도 마용에 그랬을 제고도 대상 땅고도 배준 맞으면 내가 차고 말해
So we can understand too, the influence of anger. That as soon as anger arises in an individual, that it changes their breathing, it changes their expression, and even when nasty words aren't being used, that it becomes difficult to want to remain next to them, that there's some sense of disturbance, and therefore one wants to make some distance, to keep one's distance in a situation like that. And that even in that holds for animals as well. A dog will not remain next to a person who is angry. They will want to take some safe distance away as well. And so there's this sense of the kind of very pervasive, discomfortable aspect to anger. And that not only that, but to understand too that through anger one creates these negative karmas, and that lead to, even if one is managing to attain a precious human rebirth again, and that one's whole physical appearance will be distasteful and ugly, and people won't want to be next to that person. Whereas from the side of patience, is one of the causes or one of the results of patience is an attractive, beautiful appearance. And so again, that allows people, to draws people towards you. They feel comfortable in your company because of that. So, and there's more likely for causes, virtuous causes, to be created, to be able to enhance those causes to become causes for enlightenment as well. And that and one can more in that kind of more peaceful life-like atmosphere, a life atmosphere. One can see the faults of anger from a distance, and therefore start to reduce the instances of anger in one's life in order to fully eradicate it. And so it becomes important then to really understand the nature of anger and the reasons why anger arises, in order to not just deal with it when it does arise, but actually to avoid it arising in the first place. And this requires effort. If we make no effort, there can be no change.
cosmetic mangu quantumity new Indo Kabuto, making a cabuche, so good yorba. So you're there, Yena, Kondo Sana, making a Magasa Chagua, and so Mika Chicaso, the Mika, what I call long Sabo, the Kondo Sabo as a Yashida Machech. She won't take it. That is a substitute, making a cabuche, the Yabu, so making a duet take it. Did the edge to Marazo, Indo so take yorba. So take yorba. Soba Gobale Indo Kai Guji Yomari. Soba Gobale Indo, Soba Gobale Ninjawa, Indo Kai Guji Yomarwa. Soba Gometa, Indo Habuto, Ninjabu Chaye, make a cabuche, Yakshuda. And do Yakshuda was a double my Javina. And the Pamboto, that Doson Domundo, Kekachimodo, get you the Ranga Donna Chechen. 배준 제발이나 아니 당고 하고 용거다 제 렐라달라달라달라도 저거로 렐라달라달라도 저거로 어디에서 그거 배준 제 개침버리도 와
And so again, to point out, like, who really likes to be around an angry person, really? There's nobody, you know. We all want to be liked, isn't it? And indeed, we go to great lengths for that, to gain that sort of approval, to appear in that way, to be attractive and likable. And so, in this way, you know, a lot of money is spent on cosmetics for this purpose. You know, but even when one applies a lot of makeup, but is angry, then you still won't gain what you desire. People won't be attracted, won't want to be in your company, will find you irritable and therefore unpleasant to be with. So this is a great disadvantage of anger in our kind of even social relationships. And so and to understand and that in fact what's far more effective in terms of attracting people, of gaining approval and of being liked is patience, is to generate patience. Patience is the supreme cause of that an attraction, of having that attraction for people. And so, and again, it's cheap. No expense needs to be expended in order to generate that patience. It only requires a lot of effort and mindfulness. And even though quite difficult at the beginning, what it is, like everything else, will become easier through habituation.
아니 세베게 아니 직당데 아니 인도 하고 제조데 개모 가자 되는 초라도 말이 인도 하도 좀 그래. 다 메갑 제조데 개모 먹고 있잖아. 도도 초라도.
And so it's also patience is can sustain a great deal of fun and laughter without one losing that attractive appearance. Whereas if you're caked in makeup and you're still laughing a lot, after a while it starts to run and to deteriorate. So, in this regard, what we need to understand is that, you know, going through these outlines and the headings and subheadings and so on is what we're studying, but we cannot view this as kind of like from the point of view of modern education, where it's good enough to read and even to memorize points and so on. What we have to understand, that as far as Buddhist education is concerned, and that the purpose of study is to bring about a transformation inside, transformation of our mind, of our mental attitude. And so we have to see how we can apply what we are studying in order to train our minds. And this is absolutely crucial. Otherwise there won't be any effective change in our attitude.
타바다 탐색해봐 되겠는데 다 타바 탐색해봐 람다 투바 책도 책임도 다 되게 먼저 로드맵 잡으러 와. 다 디다 투바 책도 책임도 소소 냠내 제도 디다 투바 조금도 그래서 조금도 가르치는 조금도 아니 조가도 그래서 소고도 먼저 그 다저 지금 가서 따사도 데려도 와.
And so our purpose is to attain the state of liberation or the omniscient state of enlightenment. And as such, this kind of training, this kind of study is like a roadmap to attaining that state. But we almost must apply the question as to what degree is my behavior in harmony with the path as it's laid out. If it is not in harmony, then how is it not in harmony? And to be able to isolate what I'm doing incorrectly and to then transform that activity so that it is in harmony with the path, with the teachings of the path. So this is the kind of purpose through which we can guarantee or more safely assure that we are on the right path.
Lam Rim da sosu gyu ni de dewa yugo songdo. Di dewa yugo maso wa ina Lam Rim sar gase nyeba ne pen tog marwa.
And the purpose is to understand to what degree our own mind and mental attitude is connected to and in harmony with the graduated path teachings. And if we're not really applying or integrating what we're learning like that, then no matter how many times we read through Lam Rim or get teachings on Lam Rim, it won't make the requisite transformation in our mind.
Lam Rim shegen ge chashawa ina gyu du da zo jen ma jeshi jabe. Lam Rim ngen ge chashawa ina gyu du da go chedo ni ji go do. Lam Rim shegen ge jeshi jabe chasana gyu du ye chedo zo ming ni. Gyu du da go la ja jen ane she. Ngen je ba ina an gyu du da le mig jen ne ni.
And so the purpose for which one explains the Lam Rim teachings, the one who is doing the explaining, is in order to really bring about the control or pacification of the mind. And the same goes for those who are listening, that those who are listening to that teaching, the main purpose, the main motivation is to bring about that same control and pacification of the mind. And so with that attitude, with that motivation conscientiously applied, then both for listener and the one explaining, there is benefit to Lam Rim teaching. Without that, there isn't really a benefit. And so, like, you know, if that's not the case, it's only a case of like saying, oh yes, I've heard the Lam Rim teachings, but there is no change in my mind. Or, you know, I've had Lam Rim teachings 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, etc. But one hasn't really applied what one has learned, and there is no transformation in the mind. So as the holy beings of Tibet used to use the example of water dripping on a kind of like a dry skin, you know, a kind of processed leather skin, that all it makes is a dripping noise. That's all you hear, but there's no water will permeate that skin. It'll just roll off the skin. So it's like somebody listening to the Lam Rim time after time after time, and is only making a noise about it, but nothing is actually getting in. There's no transformation of the mind. And so really it's about really just control of the mind, of pacifying the mind. And that, you know, the reason why we're here now still is that we haven't really completed or really got into that process. And that it's constantly trying to find ways of doing that. And so it's really, we have to make a really concerted effort to control the mind, to pacify the mind. By doing so, then the attainment of liberation, of the omniscient state of enlightenment will not be so distant.
다들 수반 관에 뭐 비트로 하셨다. 다 수반 무엇은 수반 뭐 신이 내가 제발에 지민량 받아. 장기 줄을 동해 중하다. 당돌량 받아. 출랑 내가 세고 내가 신도 내가 일하자. 내가 신도 내가 일하. 다 수반 발전 저번에 란지 초알아 소고 고베 심지어 고바 용수 조바 이노서다. 고바 용수 조바 자다니 수반냠에 타치 버렸어. 수반냠에 타치서도 내가 지금 그 매바 차고 말이. 내가 매바 차고 말때 랑기 내가 그 뇌절의 지면에 비해서 수바 타치마요다 고바 타치마 차소나 아니 수변양에 타치마 쓰기로다 줄게 제다 그거 집어로다 그러니까 그거서 와다 고바 타치마 차도 아니 수변양에 타치마 쓰기로서 수바 파치 쓰기로서
And so, and then just to review some of what has been covered, looking at the nature of patience, and there's several aspects. And so it's not responding to those who engage in harm, also the acceptance of suffering that arises in one's own mind stream, and finding conviction in the Dharma, and that it's understanding that the completion or the perfection of patience is to completely put a stop to anger, and to this complete maturation of that familiarity in one's mind, so that anger will not occur. And so it's not a case of pacifying the world, but rather it's the inner work of bringing this sense of control, peace, and acceptance into our own mind, and perfecting that. So that's the perfection of patience. And so, as this recalls, of course, the wonderful image from Master Shanti Deva, saying that rather than enduring the pain of walking on a land that is covered in thorns or of bindis, is it? And but rather make yourself a good pair of shoes, and you can go anywhere.
안 차오로 딱 차오로 어디 가가 요가 소쳤다 니마도 고마 주가 타는데 쇠베 배윤다 미쇠베 님이 고마 왔다 이 요해들 고베 탔다 가서 고발을 주가 탑냈다 쇠베 배윤 삼다 미쇠베 님이 양내 양도 삼다 다 간제 지금 쇠베 고발을 때다 등일 제시 제베 되거든 내가 다 타도 그 아니 저거 레베 착가가 용사 같은 수고도 아니 내가 다 아니 지금 모두는 동가 영화도 그래서 좀 것도다 경고 차대가 삼로 따와 이나 소바 마고나 탑매 되겠지 보다 소바 마고나 탑매 되겠지 뭐 차대도 어다 차대도 어다 야내하고 삼로 따고 그래서 어떻게
And yes, of course, that relates to the controlling, in the pacifying and the eradication of mental affliction in our own minds, so that we can be anywhere, go anywhere without being disturbed by others and so on, to complete that image. Then looking at the beginning, the cultivation of patience, we talked about what's key here is looking at the benefits of patience and the disadvantages of impatience. And really to look at this in terms of like what is temporary, what works in kind of short term and in the long term, or temporary and the ultimate, and to see the key is that this continuous habituation to the skillful means of supporting, facilitating patience, and really by seeing the disadvantages of impatience, eradicating those causes and conditions, and to really get to the point where we see that I have in the living of my life, in the responding to all situations, there is no alternative but to apply patience.
소소 냠내 딱딱 조금만 도와 주고 요 말이야. 같이서 뒤견도네 아니 가서도 제공제다 컨트리님이 아니 수배 편유도 양내 양도 삼었다네 수배 고메라 쪼아 패춘 아니 쪼아 숙체도 줘도 아니 저거 수배 냠내지 비타다 자주로 와. 어떤 데들 샤서 뭐 임바자로 샤샤리나 아니 좋아티가 말이야.
So, to really be careful to distinguish between a sort of an abstract appreciation of the quality of patience, such that we can discuss it and point it out in others, but not paying due attention to what we're doing in our own minds. That we have to really, at the outset, generate this self kind of generated indomitable appreciation for patience, and that is kind of like proven in the way we actually manifest patience in many situations. So it's extremely important that it doesn't remain as some sort of an abstract quality for us, but to really feel, to personalize it and analyze the benefits of patience and the disadvantages of impatience, so that we come to a firm conclusion as to patience is the only alternative here. There isn't a second choice. I must apply patience. And that means to constantly habituate that and to find the good in that and the virtue in that, and to be therefore generate sort of a joy, an enthusiasm for the application of patience, and to have that deep appreciation. This in turn will feed into our willingness to apply patience and to see the reasoning for it in more and more situations.
제가 가르치고 있어요.
소바 감기.
나 소바 공부해. 소바 공부했다. 소바 공부 짜바 소스라. 짜바 소스 피지 소스라 봐. 피지 쪼바. 먼저 산주나 요에 갈로 그래. 산주나.
라서데
짜바. 쪼바 소스라 봐. 안 고다리 잡아 컨트롤. 먼저 소바 공부. 소바 냠내 지고 있는 콘사요 요 말아. 나 먼저 뒤다고 써 줘야 돼. 알아서 그래. 지금 냠내 지고 있어.
So there's like the story again. It says somebody asking another person, "What are you doing these days?" It says, "I'm meditating on patience," and then he goes like, "That's a lot of crap," and the other person who's supposed to be meditating on patience gets really angry straight away, and they go for each other. So again, it says a bit like us, perhaps. We have all the theory and we have the maybe appreciation of it, but actually, when it comes to the actual point of applying it, we don't actually apply patience, and we lose it.
랑 미지라 모두는 차라고 봐도 아니 뒤길을 잔대지 저도 공부여라 곰스도 곰리 잘 들어와 백지스를 가로 곰 뒤에 뒤 남남 슉슉 용해쳐도 안 공부여라 봐 공부 그전 들어와 근데 까마카시 지금 다음에는 먼저 지게를 가서 내가 뭐 지금도 집 가서도 릴렉세이션 메디테이션 했을 때 어디 뒤에서 좀 말아 봐 가서 곰스도 무티의 소수 규를 거디 연대도 약부도 띵할 거기도 없으나 안디 무티의 소수 규를 내지도 안디 딜라 바제 중앙이네 아 바제들 동네 제통스 거고 열와 그리고 검색을 검지 댄스들와 삼마다네 남남수주 용도했지 다 검 간다스는 지금 디 바제 지금 영어이나 딜라 삼마다네 무티 두 검발을 딜라 때는 무티를 용도해서 거고 열와
So this the understanding of meditation as habituation is very, very central, and that this goes with any kind of meditation. What we are really striving to do is to habituate our minds so that what we are habituating to becomes our automatic response, that it doesn't need any thought in order for it to manifest as action. And so it's very, very important for us to see that this requires time. This requires lots of the frequency of engaging in the habituating process like that. It's not like something that happens in a few minutes, like we say in the Western love of this kind of now, mindfulness or meditation, where it's kind of after a big effort you want to kind of relax the mind a little bit for 5 minutes, and I think that's fine. That's not going to cut it. What we're looking for is the sense of strength of habituated mind that continues through all situations in life, and even from life to life, that one can pick that up in the next life as well. And so this is so important for us to understand that even when obstacles arise, that they can simply be accepted onto our mind stream without any disturbance of the habituated response. And so this is what we need to think about when we talk about meditating on patience. For example, it does mean that patience is the first port of call in our mind for any situations.
나는 가서 녀모인데 가서 검문에 가르쳐서 녀모인데 녀모도 그때는 깨주려도 와 삼번 보면도 와 그딱 검대도 와.
And so this is to kind of like contrast with the pervasive and automatic working of mental affliction in our minds now, isn't it? That it's often the mental affliction that's first to appear. It so quickly arises in our minds. So that's because we are habituated to mental affliction. And so the purpose for us is to habituate to the side of virtue in that way, so that it's virtue that arises in the mind, and to kind of like work on increasing that sense of that strength of habituation towards virtue, and of course reducing and really dissuading that side of non-virtue or mental affliction. So then we looked at the divisions of patience, and there were three divisions of patience: developing the patience of disregarding harm done to you, and then then accepting the patience of accepting suffering, and the patience of finding conviction in the Dharma. And with regard to the first of these, the disregarding or developing the patience of disregarding harm done. Here, we looked at it in terms of two subheadings. Putting a stop to the impatience that arises when harm is done, and also putting a stop to a dislike for the attainments of the one harming, and putting a stop to delight in their experiencing trouble. Then with regard to the first of those, then putting a stop to impatience towards harm that is done to one. Here is putting a stop to the impatience that arises when our patience or our happiness is stopped, or has some obstacle to our own happiness, and we engage in, or we experience suffering. And then also putting a stop to the impatience that follows from, for example, our somebody thwarting our praise, or fame and honor, and somebody engaging in acts of contempt or offensive speech or unpleasant speech. And that with regard to those, saying stopping impatience with those who prevent your happiness and with those who cause you to suffer, this is again subdivided into showing how anger is unjustified, and then also that showing how love, compassion is justified. And then we looked at the first of these, showing that anger is unjustified. With regard to that analysis, we looked at an analysis of whether the object has, in terms of its object, in terms of its subject, and an analysis in terms of its basis, all of which we found were unjustified, anger. And then with regard to that first point, the analysis of how anger is unjustified in relation to the object. Here, the analysis of whether the object has self-control, anger is unjustified. Here, we say that the one who is engaging in harm is not in control, because they are under the control of their own mental afflictions, and so this produces suffering for others, but that this suffering that is produced is kind of produced not under any sense of control from themselves, and say similar to somebody who is like possessed by demons in engaging in harming somebody who even helped them. And so this is saying that this is completely unjustified then to have anger in terms of the object. And then the second analysis in relation to the object is saying that on analysis for either adventitiousness or inherency, anger is unjustified. Here, in terms of looking at kind of inherent nature of anger, it's saying that this is unjustified because we do not have anger for fire, for being hot or for burning, because this is the inherent nature of fire, and therefore in terms of anger it can't be justified in terms of having an inherent nature. Also, in terms of it being adventitious, it is unjustified because again, when smoke appears in the sky, that kind of fault that simply arises because of those conditions in the sky doesn't bring anger, doesn't inspire anger, and therefore also the same goes for anger itself. In its adventitiousness, it is unjustified. And then also showing that on analysis of whether the harm is direct or indirect, anger is unjustified. And again, if one is looking to be anger and the direct agent of the harm, then, for example, if one is struck by a stick, then one should be angry at the stick, for that is the direct agent of the harm. And if one is saying no, it's the kind of like an indirect agent, then one should be angry at the hostility itself, but not the person. So, so this is an instance, an example of somebody wielding a stick and then strikes you. So it's saying that if one wants to, saying that the direct cause of or direct agent of that harm is the stick, that's what struck my body. But then it's illogical to kind of feel anger towards the stick, so anger is unjustified in that respect. But then somebody says, no, actually it's the person who wields the stick who is at fault. They're the one who engages in the harm. But again, as previously reasoned, that that person also is not the kind of like indirect cause of the harm, because it's their mental affliction that's the problem, and they're under the control of their mental affliction, and so therefore it's the anger, their hostility that should be the object to be counteracted, not the person. And it's also, again, as saying, it's similar example when say negative speech is used, or nasty words are used. Again, it's the direct agent of those nasty words are the sounds made by your tongue and teeth, and the combination of those. So your palate and your tongue is what that's where those words came from directly.
셰고 상사면도 요구 말해서 교근데 강사들은 아니 강사 코나 라오면 와서도 그 녀모들 와.
And so the same reasoning applies that one might say, yes, but that might be the direct source of the sounds that are the words, but those sounds cannot come out without a human being speaking them. So it's the being who actually said it is at fault. And you say the same reasoning, no. They are under the influence of their mental affliction of anger, and so they are not responsible. It's the anger that's responsible.
다시 봐 뇌제가 줄라 뇌제 그 줄라 따다야 초함이 반에서 뇌제게 개베어서 동네 영화들 다 중국이 레미게베 레제바 임치 자기에서 라기 렘발라 셀라 초함이라서 다돼서 다바 균의 야제바는 레미제바다 미제바 제바 취미사와인사 라기 개왕가 마드바자 덴데지가 동네 영화에 레제사 안 레디 온게 용데 그 개제바르마도 문에다가 소설 레산이 온데도 봐. 근데 전에 들어주고
And the fourth of these reasonings was on the analysis of the cause that impels the harm doer's anger is unjustified. So from since the experience of suffering arose from the one who harms, and this has arisen from the non-virtuous cause that was created in my past, and so the proper response to that is to accept the responsibility for my part in that suffering, and therefore anger is unjustified.
다 니바 유제라 따네 셀라 초함이 관해서 유제 동네 미수바 너바 제발로 초아 개대 대답이 동네 처모식라 마수에서 인도 동네 빠도메베 준내게 개베치르시.
And the second part of that main reasoning is to analyze on the basis of the subject, meaning the mind that is experiencing the harm. So analysis of the subject, anger is unjustified. And so here, to be not accept the harm that arises and to be impatient with the suffering that arises from the point of view of the subject is contradictory, because if we do not want even the smallest suffering, but if we continue with this angry response, we are not just in for the suffering at the present that's happening to me now, but I am creating the causes for and aggressively creating the causes for countless suffering in the future as well.
준준아 미 동영상에 냐와잖아 집에서 다다데 미 때라 동영 냐와 디 당도 레네 아니 지 치마 냐송 그 동영 냐모와 있어도는 근데 야부를 세 줘라다 로하고다 그러다 다데 동영 데레지 마수와 젠데 마수와 제 컨트롤 사인데 아니 모두는 동영 냐와 규슈 되기도 와 다데 거서는 문에잖아 다 가서래 지금 미 지나지 레모도 와 미 지나서도 그 남주도 좀 바꾸고 와. 그 남주도 좀 바꾸도 동해 충주 지게 동해 친구 매고 소토고 돌아. 그 당도 내 거야 잘 와. 다 동해 충주지는 마소에는 무드는 동해 영해 교수 주고도나. 다 미지다 많이 봐 잡으라. 잡으시나.
And so really it's this particular reasoning is looking at the kind of like a comparative element of being able to deal with, cope with, and have patience with smaller, more trivial sufferings as experienced by a human being, in order to really avoid the much more intense sufferings that might be experienced in the lower realms, for example. And so to look at that comparison is to see how much better it is to be able to have patience now, where it's easier to do so, rather than be angry now, and therefore set yourself up for the much more difficult suffering in the lower realms. And so this is again is pointing out to really what is a quality of a human being, really, and especially that which defines human beings, their intelligence. If one is really using human intelligence in a fully qualified sense, one is able to accept smaller sufferings now in order to avoid much greater sufferings later on. If this should be a kind of a qualifying characteristic of human intelligence, and if one isn't able to do that, then we can hardly say that they qualify as a human being.
미 튕겐 양답과 배주 땅 마당스거든 남주 배주 땅 마다 장도와 남주 배주다 딱 근데 남주 배주 땅에 동네 충종저 땅도 내네 동네 친구 많이 와서 동네 충종저 땅도 내네 대화 쳐보죠 소토에서 도다 남주 양답과 배주 땅 동네 충종저라 미세네 아니 대화 쳐보죠 려 땅와 이나 다들 잡중시고 잡으러 잡중시고 잡기도 와 다들 미 남주 양답과 배주 땅 품마도 저를 잡기도 와.
And so really, that which qualifies or distinguishes the human status is human intelligence, and to be able to make a far-reaching decisions to accept minor, trivial sufferings now in order to not only avoid greater sufferings in the future, but with the purpose of experiencing and being able to enjoy great happiness in the future. And so if one is sort of like too short-sighted to be able to see how that can be, and to really dwell on anger in the short term because of minor sufferings, and as a result of that give up on or throw away the possibility of great happiness in the future, well, that hardly qualifies as human intelligence, human thinking.
미기 남주 차장 배주당 마당스근데 아니 지금 기본 중고的 딩다 체별 람라 로마로라 잡고도.
And so really it's to distinguish like the degree to which one is really employing fully qualified, fully characterized human status is the degree to which one is truly training in the path related to the smaller, medium, and greater capacity beings.
어디를 잡고도 다 뒤에 맞아져 세대 코라라 교치바이나 아니 미 남주 차상시 배주 땅투도.
So, for example, if one is simply obsessed with just this one life theory and working and really putting all one's energy and effort into that, then one can't be said to really be living one's life as a fully qualified human being.
다 이내야 이내 칸에 깨와 치마 켈란 디페 도움도다 칸에 타바 탐지기만 켈레나 페 도움도다 타바다 탐지기에 주두고 고도 와 깨와 치매 주두고 탑에 주두고 탐지기에 주두고 중앙 임바이나 아니 참 맞아야 켈레는 지금에서도 다 최켈링가 그가 인식이지 봐 이내 최켈링가 최두고요 말로
And so and of course what is what goes beyond that is not simply saying that, well, I am committed to liberation and the omniscient state of enlightenment, therefore I am fully qualified being. No, that doesn't That doesn't cut it either. And that simply saying these things, simply accepting or having a path like that, or saying I am religious in that sense, is no good unless one is actually establishing the causes that really serve to fulfill that path. And so one must be, walking the walk and not just talking the talk. As you know, and this is the issue with so many who seem or say that they're practicing some religion, but they actually aren't really laying down the causes of what their religion says. So just accepting a spiritual path is not enough. One has to be establishing the causes. And so, and then with regard to the analysis on the basis, anger is unjustified. And we're looking at then the second of these, the analyzing your commitment. So here it's saying that anger is completely unjustified. In terms of our commitment, we must be committed to patience, because if those who have committed to attaining the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings, one's prerogative is to really care for sentient beings as much as possible, then there can be no question of harming, and that harm arises from anger. Because even if those on the hearer and the solitary realizer paths hold patience to be so important, and they themselves do not allow anger to arise, because anger leads to harming other beings. And of course that's one of the principal tenets of the hearers and solitary realizer beings' paths. And therefore what need we say how much more important it is on the Mahayana path, where one's aspiration is to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, that anger is completely out of the question. So in terms of, like, very, very basically, in terms of the Buddha's teachings, we say like that the very essence of the Buddha's teachings is teachings of compassion. And with regard to that, there is the prerogative to be of benefit where one can, but where one can't, to definitely not harm. And so you can even divide those up into saying the main impulse of the Mahayana vehicle is the former, to be of benefit to sentient beings, where the main impulse of the individual liberation vehicle is to avoid any harm to sentient beings. So at least not avoid any harm, or avoid and harming sentient beings. And so in that context too, when we talk about never harming any other sentient being and being of every possible benefit to them, I mean, this must also go apply to ourselves, because of course, we must, everybody considers themselves to be the most important. So why would you do anything that would harm yourself? And when you know that anger is so harmful, therefore, it's a very, very good reason never to be angry.
소소를 내고도 와. 아니 셴발 파삼로 마다네. 콘도 걔는 소소를 내고도 소소 셈마기면 칼라산에 좋아하면도 니 구면도 아니 내가 제도면도 다 가리네 삼로 가이네 땅 마도 뭐 정도도 와. 미 마가와 차도도 와. 라면 내고도 와. 아니 기분도 와. 아니 차가 좋아도 야구도 나자 용고도 와.
And so, even putting aside other sentient beings, there are so many reasons for not entertaining anger for our own benefit. We can see it's so harmful in so many ways, one with an angry mind is going to be going around disturbed in their own peace of mind. They're not able to sleep well, not able to enjoy their food, not able to engage in their work. They are disliked by others as well. It has a very bad effects on one's health outcomes, blood pressure and the like. And so there are too many disadvantages even for myself to even want to entertain anger.
최대 개체물 지금 집에는 건도사나 지금도 가서 최대 개체물 랑을 류대 개체물로 와. 와? 랑을 류대 개체 랑을 구십 개체물 건도사 미수 구십 지금 지금 말어 와.
And so this goes for those who just have a very short, limited sense of this life, this life's importance as well, who are striving just for success and fame and so on in this life. The same reasoning applies, they must surely consider their own health to be important as well, and therefore they will avoid anger, because that is something that is harmful to their health. They must love the idea of respect and appreciation from others as well. And they know that if one is going around irritable and angry, then one is not going to get that respect and appreciation. So there are too many reasons to kind of to avoid really, to kind of like when one wants to counteract anger.
never give never let too much in this. You never do pay your this. That's Simjan Tamja as a Toma Mevan, Koana, Randy Pama, La Sobias, near the Zawoma, what you want. Don't assume you don't know what you are done. Never change your money. That together, don't assume good Karonga, don't know what you are done. And your mobile doing union as a Rangi did a chimney turn up job. Jibajota, Tolatan Mevaso, Chimber. And Tachinja, Zelby, Tatinja, then Rala Ginger and Majan Senja, Tunga Sumo Karujigan Narni, and the Chicaso the Nomobi Shawan to Jonathan, never gave yours. That said, did a Chima Kana Tasa Megan so yore, Tatilla, Tamunet Kajan Nijikawa Jemaris, Zawaki Gosos.
And so the next outline is looking at what is appropriate then, and showing that compassion is appropriate. And here this is looked at in the context of the reality of cyclic existence, when we look at the fact that sentient beings have been wandering in cyclic existence since beginningless time, and that in terms of our parents, those who are close to us, those who are loved, there's no one who has not been acting in those roles of a mom, a dad, a parent, friends, and so on, and that they are, even as we speak, suffering, any of the three kinds of suffering, and they are crazed by the demon of the mental afflictions into really destroying their prospects for this life and for future lives. And so in that context, that it shows that compassion is a indispensable, in fact, is the only response to those sentient beings.
어디로다 제가 먼저 체제발로서 하고 요마리면도 심어도 안배 파도 지금 된치모만 이게 지에매야 되는지 다 지가서도 지금 마셔야 된데 계속하도 치만한 시리에 다 간제 지금 가서도 지마지가 지에 요마데 이나 다 세편은 워싱 요마래 안 몽바다 다 세편에 다 신고 요마다 몽바마 이거 온게 아니 소소가 통화데 다가랑 뭐지 도되게 요와 디 잡고 쳐는 통고 요마 디 잡로라 쳐는 마 통화자 다디 온게 아니 다 지금 렌나 저거 사전다 못는 퀄리티에다 다 퀄리 지금 디기다 중에 나는 맞아 동네의 교장장 용해기 유튜브 대대가 요와 다 지금 어디로 다 되게서 내가 저쪽가 삼로다나 다 되게 지금 내가 시켜 봐 있나 파파 좀 거야 돼 랭게를 잡아도 네벨렌들 내가 해야 돼 랭게를 못 섭사지 랭게를 못 가서다 가서도 네벨렌들 파파 좀 거야 돼 랭게를 셨어
And so, when we think about these sentient beings, that having acted as our mother in the context of generating the mind of enlightenment, they are all sentient beings have been our mother in the past, and all have been greatly kind, and the imperative for us to try to find a way to repay that kindness. And so it's kind of like to really establish how desperate the situation of those kind mother sentient beings is now, undergoing such terrible suffering, accumulating all kinds of negative karmas because they are crazed by the mental afflictions, destroying their prospects for that life and for future lives. And they really are in a very pathetic state, and it's not my responsibility to add to their woes by harming them. My responsibility is to be of benefit to them. Therefore, compassion is the legitimate response.
페버 주에 삼로자 페버 주에 삼로실 양원도 아니 랑게 디기 규주고 것도 와 근데 전에 디 소설 패는 것도 와
And to actually understand it, the logic actually leads to the conclusion that yes, I am committed to and responsible for benefiting others, but in fact the benefit comes to myself. Because by thinking in this way, by maintaining this habituated way of behaving towards other sentient beings, that there is no opportunity for mental affliction to arise in the mind, and that leaves the space open to find beneficial thoughts arising, virtuous thoughts arising. And that, of course, leads to my own happiness, and that's what something that cultivates my own happiness again and again.
Because
so it's a simple equation of between, when anger arises, then we create negativities. With negativities, that's like a fault of the mind. It's something that destroys any kind of peace of mind that we have. This is very, very clear. Whereas if we avoid the anger by generating patience, we open up the mind to creating virtue, which produces happiness. And so we see that simple equation is something that can be very powerful reasoning.
가와 저거지.
So the next outline is stopping. It says there too, stopping impatience with those who prevent your praise, fame, or honor, and with those who have contempt for you or say offensive or unpleasant things to you. And this is looked at in regard to two main outlines. The first of these is to look at the three of praise and honor and fame, and to say that we must put a stop to any impatience with regard to those who are putting any stop to them or putting any obstacle to our receiving them. Though this is three subheadings in itself. One is that to show that the reflecting on the fact that praise, etc., have no good qualities. The second, the reflecting on how they are fault ridden, and thirdly, how to delight in those who prevent these praise, fame, and honor from arising. So we leave it there for today. And so really the most important thing is to prevent the mental afflictions from arising, to be able to deal skillfully with them if they do arise, to reduce their influence over our lives. This is really at the very heart of it. As having attained the precious human rebirth, having met with the Buddha Dharma, we have opportunity. And we must not waste this opportunity, but to really put it, to take this opportunity and to use it to reduce and eradicate a mental affliction in our lives. And so, to understand that we have this precious human rebirth like a capital now, we must maybe to use that capital as wisely as we possibly can. And that means to counteract the mental afflictions at every turn, and to try to turn our minds to virtue as much as possible, and to not to waste that capital. That would be really a terrible disaster and would take away all hope for us really for the future. And that at least to be able to build on the capital that we have, so that we take a precious human rebirth again in the future and continue with the work of counteracting the mental afflictions. So saying that really that having attained a precious human rebirth, one is endowed with the basic conditions for the attainment of even the omniscient state of enlightenment, and then saying that there is more possibility of attaining the state of enlightenment based on having a precious human rebirth than there is of getting from the hell realms back into a human rebirth. So when we see the choice as starkly as that, then we must consider how careful we must be to lay down the right causes on our mind stream.
So ben samda da 먼저 대적을 르된 nie버데 아니 최주에 튕게 되게 야고 요데 먼저 맞지 녀모 시험도 수첩 더 되고 또 미바지 계산하다 그래 저와도 야고 상다다.
So to when we think carefully on it, to have such great advantages and assets as the precious human rebirth, access to the Dharma, opportunity to practice, but if we don't take that, if we don't work to counteract our mental afflictions, then we may fall to the lower realms in the next life, and disastrous would that be.
지단 미수인의 연속의 계산도 수인의 대화 요말이야. 대화 요말때 얘네 너무 비상한데 줘나 아니 연속 유튜브 되기도 와. 유튜브 사서나 대고부터 라이브 하고 랑 요말 되고 랑 요말이.
So nobody wants to go to the lower realms, of course, but then if that's the case, we must avoid feeding and facilitating the mental afflictions arising in our own minds. We must counteract the mental afflictions arising in our own minds. This is only really becoming aware of the cause and effect relationship here. If we don't allow these causes to arise, to be laid down on the mind stream, then of course we don't have to worry about any unpleasant effects, because the effect will not arise if the causes have not been laid down. So let's leave it there. Slide our Lam Rim dedication prayer. From my 2 collections, vastest space that I have amassed from working with this at its great length of time, may I become chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdomized, blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be led to loving compassion for all those men justly. May I find the best and complete graded path of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal the treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this great path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity, create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent path, never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. And then if someone makes an attempt to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere.
Generously
mei kian bei wang po jiang bei yang kan jian kian bei su jian zong tao bang lo san zhai bei xiang luan so wan den mei mei sei wei te jian jian rei si jian mei kian bei wang po jiang bei yang kan jian kian bei su jian zong tao bang lo san zhai bei xiang luan so wan den. You are
Look at the shroud of great treasure, compassion, not aim to true existence, and magician, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Sankapa, crown jewel of the faith, land of snows, Lord Sandrapa, at your feet I make requests.